Hello and welcome to the chart of the week. Before I can get to the chart of the week, I have to start with my market analysis. 75% of the stocks follow the market. That's where I start my analysis. As you can tell by the color coding, right now my bias is neutral. Let's take a look at the 1 week chart and get our bearings. And see that the market last week tried to rally up a little bit, it pulled back. This week, however, it was able to rally up past that resistance level at SPY 137, and yesterday it actually added to those gains. On a 1 month chart, we can see that the market rallied very strong off of the capitulation low that we made in January after a 20% market correction. Market came back and tested that 133 level, bounced off of it, and then now it's been gradually working its way higher, and it looks like it might actually challenge that SPY 139 level. On a 1 year basis, we can see that the market rallied up last year, pulled back strong in August, made a new relative high, actually a new all-time high in October, and ever since then the market had been in a very steady decline. Once it broke through this 140 level, it fell very quickly, but established a double low right here. Overall, as I look at the market, I know there's a lot of volatility, there's not a lot of direction, there are a lot of issues that need to be resolved from a fundamental standpoint. We've got all the credit crisis, we have a slowing economy, we have higher inflation. So I'd have to say that I believe there's a chance for a good market bounce in here from an oversold condition, but I can also see that given the negative news that's circulating in the marketplace, we could also come down, test this low, and perhaps even take it out if there's bad news on the subprime front. So my market bias is neutral. I'd like to take a look at a few bearish trades because we have had a bullish market condition. I want to show you that you aren't going to get a lot of bearish trades that come up in my searches. However, the quality of those searches is very good. For today's chart of the week, I've selected this particular search. It's called EDRE Breakdown. It's a bearish day reversal early, and we're also looking for a stock that's breaking down. As you can see from the description, it looks for stocks that have been in a downtrend but have recently rebounded. Today the stock is attempting to resume the sell-off and it's making a new 10-day low. Here you can see the actual search, and you can also see that some of the other searches did not yield many results. And the reason for that is that the market's recently bounced. As I've mentioned, my searches are naturally selective, and they show me where I should be focusing my attention. My attention the last few days should have been on the bullish side of the market, so the bearish searches are going to limit the number of results. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip through each one of these stocks here, and we'll see if we can pick up on some good bearish trades. So remember, we're looking for a longer term downtrend, a small bounce, and then a reversal off of that bounce. Here's the first stock, and we can see that it was in a fairly tight range and then it fell dramatically, $15. Let's take a look at the 1 month chart. You can see how steady that fall off has been. So before the move, you actually had a nice trade set up. And then here you can see kind of a unusual chart where the stock had a nice gradual grind higher, exploded to a new high, and then absolutely fell apart. This has the appearance of a major news item that's materially changed the nature of the company. Perhaps it's some type of FDA approval or litigation. You would want to take a very close look at what's driving this stock, and it might present an opportunity, but I would rather see a downtrend as opposed to a sharp fall off like this. This is Sigma Designs. On a 1 week chart, this actually looks pretty good because we've seen the market's been rallying, and look, this stock can't hold a bid. It keeps going down. On a 1 month chart, This also looks fairly bearish. We can see that even though the market's had rebounds, this stock has steadily moved lower. On a 1-year chart, we get the same type of effect as the last stock. Big blow off top, huge reversal. Here's our small reversal that we're looking to trade here. See the bounce, and now it's actually rolled over. This is why it's coming up on the scanner, and it's actually breaking below that support level right there. This might make an interesting candidate. Here we have a solar stock. We can see that it's been in a steady decline. Persistent selling. Really not too many bounces outside of this little one here. On a 1-month chart, fairly choppy, but it is heading in a downward sloping fashion. This is tough. Look at that huge spike, huge trough, huge spike, huge sell-off again. This is a very volatile stock, and it tells me that I can't really predict what it might do, so I'm going to take a pass on this one. Fannie Mae, that's a very large company. We know that they deal in mortgages. You can see the steady decline here. Take a look at the 1-month chart. Brief rally and then very persistent selling. Big drop off at the end here during a bullish market period. On a 1-year chart, we can see the huge sell-off as the subprime woes started to surface. We had a nice little bounce, and the stock has actually been working its way lower and lower, and it's actually forming a descending triangle. If you draw that support line and you draw a line across the tops here, this stock could be headed for trouble. I kind of like this chart. Here we have Garmin. We can see that the stock flatlined after making a move lower, gradually worked its way lower. It's really not moving in one direction or the other. But most importantly, this has been a tech market leader, and it hasn't been able to bounce with the overall market. On a 1-month chart, fairly choppy, nothing too exciting. 1-year chart, big drop off, rally back. It's been trying to hold this support level, and again we see a small reversal. There's also a small descending triangle. If it breaks below the support level, it could be a nice short.